Chapter 40, surprise! On this dais is Malcolm in the center, Bellicon, the king of Aurelia, Everlane's dad, Fisher's stepdad on one side, and Madra, queen of Zilvarin, the realm that Ceres is from, on the other side. And they have a name for themselves. They're calling themselves the Triumvirate. They know Lorith, they know Ceres, but when it comes time for Carrion to introduce himself, Heron hits him in the head with the pommel and knocks him out before he can finish saying who he is. Fisher's at the foot of this dais, covered in sweat and black and red blood. Bellicon knew that Madra was the one who closed the Quicksilver gates, but he publicly blamed Fisher's dad. And Bellicon hasn't actually been trying to win this war against Malcolm, but instead, he's helping Malcolm by basically feeding his army, Malcolm's army, with Bellicon's army. We had an inkling that Fisher had made some kind of oath that made it to where he could not explain where he'd been or what had been happening for the past 110 years, but Bellicon now releases him from this oath, and he's going to tell us what's been up. Chapter 41, this place that they are is called Gilthry. Tens of thousands of vampires were attacking, and Fisher could not get an entire army here, so instead he brought his 7 Lupo Proelia to try to save something. While the wolves fought and tried to save whoever they could, Fisher went to try to find Malcolm to make some kind of deal, but what he found was Bellicon and Malcolm working as allies. And here, Bellicon admits in front of everyone that he slit Fisher's mom's throat after Everlane was born. Fisher and Malcolm make a deal for Malcolm to call off his horde to save the Fae who are still alive in this city. If the coin toss didn't go Fisher's way, he would have to leave all of these people to their deaths and then fight Malcolm at a later date. The wording of this deal was very specific, much like all deals in this realm, and Malcolm kept the coin from ever hitting the ground, entrapping Fisher. So King Fisher torched this city because everyone had either been killed or bitten. Then Malcolm builds a labyrinth for Fisher to be trapped in, and he surrounds it with an amphitheater and fills it with all of the people that Fisher tried to save. They're somehow not yet dead, but they're suspended in their burning and suffering, hence the ash. So when Ceres opened the Quicksilver pool in Madra's palace, a Quicksilver pool in this labyrinth opened up, and that is how Fisher escaped. During this conversation, it seems that Fisher's kind of fidgeting around, but what he's actually doing is strategizing, and he gets Solace, his father's sword, and plunges it into Bellicon's stomach, and then into his throat. Go figure, all hell breaks loose. Chapter 42, Lorith lightly cuts Malcolm, Ceres stabs Heron and runs, and Carrion is cutting through feeders with Simon, his new god sword. The one that likes dirty jokes. I don't know how I feel about this strategy because they run into this labyrinth that had Fisher trapped for over 100 years. Fisher says the first 10 moves of this labyrinth are always the same, and after that the walls start to change. Like, no wonder he was stuck here 100 plus years. Fisher says that his plan for getting out of here is Ceres, and before he can elaborate, there's an obstacle. Before we hear about what this obstacle is, Ceres gives some context that I don't like. Zilvarin had plenty of spiders, sand-trapped spiders the size of dinner plates, that would numb your skin with their saliva while you were sleeping and eat your fingers. But this one has more legs than she could count, and is 3 times the size of a fully grown man. The bottom half is spider, but the top half is out of a Fae male, but the face only has a massive mouth with jagged teeth. I'm pretty sure Netflix is adapting this into a movie, and low-key it's gonna have to be horror because of the monsters and the vampires. Somehow, this thing can speak without opening its mouth, and if it catches you, it will eat you slowly over the course of days. And this death demon, whose name is Morthal, cannot see, cannot hear, but it can track you by your movements. So the plan is for them to escape by Ceres finding the pool of Quicksilver that is supposedly at the center of this labyrinth. Call back to whenever Fisher was like, you never know when you're gonna need to be able to find it quickly across a large distance. And surprise for Fisher, in the past, Morthal has not been able to leave his enclosure, but now he's climbing over the walls. This is truly horror. Carrion temporarily kills it, but supposedly it will come back as smaller and faster. Also, I tend to find that the comedic relief characters are usually the ones with the highest EQ. Because, like, this is a life or death situation. Carrion is obviously very stressed, but he is still able to say, "You're right, I apologize, I'm just a little on edge right now, I'm not my best self." Ceres is on the Quicksilver's trail, but the closer she gets, the quicker the walls move. They run into this room, and she is immediately swept off her feet by a pile of coins. By pile, I mean mountain. Malcolm appears here with Madra and Bellicon, who I guess didn't die. And Bellicon says, "You can't kill any of us with a mere blade. We are the Triumvirate dog, 3 crowns sharing 1 source. To kill one of us, you must kill us all, and that is no easy task." Carrion starts running his mouth, and everyone's like, dude, shut the fuck up, and then he dares Malcolm to bite him. Malcolm is a vampire, so of course he bites him. And after chugging that Carrion blood, he steps back, and he's not looking so good. And then Carrion says, "You really should have let me finish introducing myself earlier. It's rude to interrupt people. My name is Carrion Swift, but there was a time when I was known as Carrion Dianthus, firstborn son to Rurik and Amelia Dianthus. Only way to break the curse on Malcolm was for him to drink Dianthus blood. Well, he's down, walls aren't moving anymore, Ceres needs to find the Quicksilver and this coin now. It is calling to her. She is running with her everything. And then everything goes silent and she starts pleading with this Quicksilver to save her mate. She agrees, okay, fine, I will owe you a favor, Quicksilver. And it leads her back to the fucking demon spider. And to get this damn coin, she has to stick her hand into the demon's mouth through its jagged teeth because it's at the back of its throat. Once she finally does that, somehow Malcolm is here despite the fact that he just did the thing that's supposed to end this curse. And that is the second time in this chapter that one of these triumvirates has been killed but then did not die.